2 weeks later. Yeah, so yeah, we are really welcome you guys to join the interview. I mean, those are hiring event also. So today I just want to give you the if you guys not heard about or not understanding the semiconductor, I will let you guys know what is the basic semiconductor is and who is TSMC. Okay, and you guys do have an opportunity. So after graduated from a Pima Community College, so we have a lot of basically we can say a couple of technician roles we can provide. You guys can choose to join us, to grow with us together. Okay, now let me share my screen. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Can see it. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Yeah, let me start. So basically, I don't know how many of you guys heard about TSMC before, because when I do some of the introduction for the other groups, maybe only 5% of the people heard about TSMC before. I don't know how many of you guys heard TSMC before. So I cannot see anything. Maybe a couple of them, a couple of you guys. So basically, but I bet every people heard about Intel, right? It's a really famous company, and Intel do the advertise all the time, like deng 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 deng, like Intel Inside, right? So I just want to do some a little bit comparison with Intel. Like this is the snapshot I take back to January, right, before the stock dropped down. So back that time, this year January, this the market value about Intel is over $200 billion, which is good, really big company, right? But TSMC, guys, what's the TSMC number? Okay, keep this number in mind. Then here is the TSMC. Okay, our market value is over $600 billion. Basically, even not as triple as Intel, but nearly triple. Okay, that's just from the market value point of view. Another point of view is the technology. So, and if you guys, know this industry, you know, currently Intel mass production, they are 10 nanometer process on their most advanced CPU. Okay, and the TSMC, currently we are in 5 nanometer mass production. Especially the new fab we're gonna build in North Phoenix, gonna be 5 nanometer fab. Okay, the future fab. So even 2 years later, when we fully release our capacity, we can ship 20,000 wafers per month. So by that time, if the 5 nanometer, so we still estimate still the most advanced technology in the US. Okay, so that's from the market value and technology point of view. So I'll give you some information about the TSMC's customer. Okay, all those information are public. So like back to one generation behind, so it's a 7 nanometer customers. So you can see those big brand, right? If you guys build your own laptop or computer, if you play games, you know the NVIDIA, right? Their GPU is the best, okay? And AMD, currently their CPU on the high performance ones, they are beat Intel basically. And the Apple, right? All those big brands like the Qualcomm, if you hold an Android phone, so they are most advanced CPU gonna from Qualcomm. So it's also they use our platform to produce that CPU. Now for 5 nanometer, you see the Apple dominates over this 5 nanometer technology. Okay, so especially the Apple start announcing like more and more like their CPU plan to replace all their Intel's CPU in their laptop. Basically, all their chips made by us. Okay, so now you see who is our big customers. Basically, TSMC are really famous in this industry. Okay, but it's not a household brand. Give you some more information about our market. Okay, let's just focus on the foundry market. Okay, the foundry market means all the customer, the fabless design house, they design their chips, then they send to the foundry fabs to make their chips. Okay, this is the foundry business. Like Intel or Samsung, they are more different. Like they do the IDM, they do their design, they do their manufacturing, packaging, sale together. They call the IDM model. Now we are just focused on the the foundry market, you see the TSMC market share, okay, 53%. So which means the number simply means like all the other competitors in this foundry business, they add together, they still less than our market share. Okay, they're gonna 47%. We are over 50. We're dominant this foundry market. Okay, so you see some of the big names like Samsung. So you guys, Samsung also do the foundry business, right? And they are not only do the memory, they also do the foundry and the global foundry. Okay, and UMC, so all those fabs. Okay, and overall give you guys a summary. So now, if you would just exclude the memory market, so all the other chips, including this Intel CPU altogether, okay, TSMC produced nearly 25% of the overall chips in the world. Okay, this is 2020 year 2020 data. Okay, and if you hold a smartphone, so we treat that smartphone like a high-end product. Basically, I guarantee you, going to be over 50% of the chips in your cell phone is made by TSMC. Okay, especially if you hold the most advanced, like the Apple product, Apple 13, right? iPhone 13 Pro Max, all their CPUs going to be made by us. Okay, and the 2021, the estimates revenue is around $55 billion for TSMC revenue. So the actual number, I think I just saw maybe a month ago, yeah, actually a little bit higher than this revenue forecast. And here is the gross margin. So which means it's over 50%, which means every $100 we sell, okay, around we're gonna earn over $50, okay. You can imagine this business, right? And the net margin TSMC is going to be over 30%. Basically, our business is really strong, really strong. Okay, now give you some just some details. This is all public information. Okay, so like Intel, back to 1.5 years ago, they announced their first M1 series CPU. They start replacing Intel CPU on their laptops. So now I think 2 weeks ago. It's just, or 3 weeks ago, they just announced that the most powerful CPU they call the M1 Ultra, okay, on the production line, which means all their laptops, their like the working stations, their CPU gonna use their own CPU, so which is made by TSMC. They are really proud of their CPU, and you can see this is the series. They announced M1 back to nearly 2 years ago. Then last year they announced M1 Pro and M1 Max. And 2 weeks ago, they announced M1 Ultra. All those ones, they are really proud of, and they said, okay, it's made by 5nm process. Okay, in this industry, everybody know only TSMC can provide the 5nm process. So all the Apple product is made by those high-end product made by our 5nm process. That's why if you see the customer like the seller over a 5nm process, so why Apple over 50%? Okay. Now I'll give you some sense about how what's the 5nm looks like. Okay, what's the size? Okay, normally if you see this picture is 2000 nanometer is your body cell. Okay, it's really big compared to 5, right? And here is a little really famous small guy. Okay, we call it COVID-19. Okay, really famous for past 2 years. COVID-19. The size is 120 nanometer. Okay, it's still really big. And if we scale up the COVID-19 to this size, and the 5nm, it will be a protein size on top of the COVID-19. So basically, you cannot see any structure we build on our chips and our wafer from your bare eye. You have to through really advanced electronic microscope to see the structures, okay, the devices, the transistors we build on our chips, okay, like how 5nm looks like, okay. So basically, you do have an opportunity to join us, okay. We can work together, right, to make the new 5nm chips made in the US. Okay, here is the news. So around 1.5 years ago, TSMC announced this news. We're gonna build a 5nm fab in North Phoenix. And the investment gonna be $12 billion. But the $12 billion is just for phase 1. the phase 1. Okay, we bought around 1,100 acres land. Okay, so basically the land at least can support 6 fabs. So we have more fabs, on the way. Okay, if you guys join us, this is still the first fab. You have plenty of opportunity to grow with us together. Okay. Now here is the location, right? Intel is down here, down towards Chandler. Everybody knows. Okay, we are here. We are in the North Phoenix, the 303 and I-17. Okay, this area is bought by us. So if you guys have a chance to drive the 303 through the whole land, basically gonna take you 3 to 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes. On the highway to drive through the whole land. Okay, if you guys see those big construction land, gonna be us. Okay, now I'm gonna show you some short videos to let you guys know the progress of this the new facility. Okay, can you see my video screen?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let me play for around 2 minutes.
Chips are in everything, and they've been in short supply since just a few months into the pandemic last year. That's why it's been hard to buy everything from cars to PS5s. Turns out one company makes 24% of all the world's chips and more than 90% of the most advanced ones, the smallest, fastest chips used in today's iPhones, supercomputers, and automotive AI.
In fact, we even have product that's landed on the last Mars launch that are taking pictures of Mars.
Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC, is not a household name, but it's quietly making chips for every new iPhone, US fighter jets, the highest end processors, you name it. And now it's investing $100 billion over 3 years to ramp up production amid the shortage.
The combined output of what we're doing is in excess of 12 million wafers a year.
But the world's massive reliance on TSMC may also leave the global chip supply vulnerable to earthquakes, drought, and geopolitical tensions with China.
It's become almost a monopoly at the leading edge, and all of those manufacturing operations, for the most part, are out of Taiwan, Hsinchu. That becomes a matter of national importance for the United States, but not only the United States, but the Western world.
TSMC almost always keeps its production sites closed to US video crews, until now.
The total floor space for this fab is around 2.3 million square foot.
The US was the birthplace of advanced silicon, but for decades now, it's been losing market share to Asia, where 75% of chip production happens now. TSMC is now bringing the world's most advanced chip making back to the US, with a $12 billion fabrication plant, or fab, in the middle of the Arizona desert.
It's going to be, when it gets introduced to production in 2024, the most advanced technology manufactured in the United States.
We got an exclusive tour of the fab site in northern Phoenix to get the truth about the secretive Taiwanese company and why the world's largest contract chip maker is bringing bleeding-edge chip manufacturing back to US soil.
Okay, then we have another video.
TSMC's North Phoenix megafactory construction is moving along at breakneck speed. Significant progress has been made over the last 60 days. Two fabs, 4 stories tall, consisting of 2.88 million square feet each at a cost of an estimated $12 billion. The next largest facility is the Water Resource Center at 344,000 square feet, 2 stories tall. Please like and subscribe so that you can be notified of the next TSMC progress video. Thank you.
Okay, now back to my presentation. Okay, hopefully I already let you know some of this background. Okay, I mean this big crane is really, I mean, basically it's the biggest mobile crane. There's only 2 in the world, and then we have 1. Okay, it's really obvious when you drive through the 303 and I-17, you will always see this big guy. Okay, so this is just you guys already see the progress. Okay, before I show you, basically our new facility haven't been done yet. Okay, but I want to give you guys a heads up about what the future facility will be looks like. Okay, so now here is a fab, but it's a Fab 16 in Nanjing, China. It's also a 12-inch fab, and here is the fab, and this is the office. You see, it's a really good design, right? And there's a admin building, and it's really fancy landscapings. Okay, with a pond. So you know, some of the students in the other introduction, they ask if there is a fish in the pond. I say, okay, yeah, there is a fish, but yeah, you're not allowed to catch the fish. Okay, it's just for some decoration basically. So later on, I'm pretty sure. So TSMC has a tradition, right? So basically, each new fab, we're gonna be slightly better than the previous one. So in the future, I'm pretty sure the building gonna be even better than this one. Okay, but the landscaping will be different, right? Since we are in the desert. So, but hopefully we still get a really fancy desert landscaping. Okay, but you can have a sense like later on the overall the working environment. Okay, it will be really good. Okay, and just give you guys a heads up. Like this is the future. This is the design for a future Arizona admin building. Okay, after we build at least the phase 1, like if we start phase 2 and phase 3, we're gonna start build this admin building as well. Okay, it's more like an alien ship. Okay, so let's what's the future building is gonna look like. So now I'm gonna let you guys know some of the insight. What's the future environment for the technicians? Okay, because currently for this event, we're mainly focused on to hire technicians in our fab. Okay, so give you some story. This is still back to the really old days, but currently, if you have some experience in the 8-inch fab, so we still have a lot of 8-inch fabs in the US and also all around the world. So the working environment is more like this. You're gonna wear the whole the bunny suit and moving the wafers and all those reticles around the fab. Okay, so and you put down and get out those parts, you know, all day long basically. And if you repair the tool, you control the process. Everything basically need to be done in the fab. That's the really old working environment. So when the 12-inch start, so as early as year 2000, so we start gathering people in the clean room office. Since the system is more advanced, we don't need people directly working nearby the tool. Since we have really good, we start having really good automatic transportation system, right? They can help us to handle most of the transportation. Then we don't need people to move all the wafers around the fab. And here is the nowadays working environment. If you join my team, like my department as a manufacturing technician or a manufacturing assistant, so you're working 80% of the manufacturing technician or assistant going to be working in this kind of office environment. Okay, we're sitting in front of the desktop. We control the fab operation all through systems. Another 20% going to work in the fab. But even the fab environment, so going to be like this. It's barely to see the people in the fab in nowadays. Okay, all those over wafers going to be handled by those MHS automatic transportation system. Okay, material handling system. Like one of the vehicle, you can think about one vehicle is more like a one BMW 5 Series, like over $50,000, right? So, and we have thousands of these vehicles in one fab. And if you are working as an equipment technician, so later on you're gonna in charge to do the maintenance and do some troubleshooting on those really advanced tools, but gonna be in the fab, okay? So if you are apply for a process technician, so the environment is more like manufacturing technician. You're sitting in front of a desktop, we control the process, do some parameter tuning, okay, to make sure everything run within the spec. So the working environment is more like an office area, okay. So, and we are hiring, basically, like I mentioned, we're gonna hiring manufacturing technician, equipment technician, process technician. That's the three main roles we're gonna hire. So overall, those three roles, if we add the facility technician altogether, gonna be around 500 technicians we want to hire by the end of the year. Okay, it's a huge amount of people we try to hire and try to grow with TSMC altogether. Okay, I think that's all my introduction. Okay, and now I can answer all the questions. But before I answer the question, so I think I want to. So Tori, I'm sorry, so I forgot to let you introduce. Yeah, Tori is our HR. So later on, Tori and me, so we're gonna answer all your questions. So if something from the HR side, yeah, Tori gonna be answer. Yeah, Tori, you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, Jackie. Hi, all. My name is Tori. Again, I'm recruiting with TSMC. So I've been here for, I think, 6 to 8 weeks at this time. We are really excited to get to know some of you. As Jackie shared, we have many openings in our fab that's coming up, and we're going to be doing a lot of really exciting work. So I hope you all could hear me. I just realized my microphone was up in the air. Do I need to repeat myself?
No, it's good.
Cool. Okay, great. Well, nice to meet you all.
Oh, Michael, I just aware. So Michael also joined us. Michael is another HR senior recruiter. So Michael, you want to introduce yourself?
Whoa, I'm sideways. There we go. Hey, I'm Michael Krause, senior recruiter here at TSMC, working with Jackie to fill these positions. Many of you may have seen the flyer information as well. My email, it will be plastered around. I'll be working with Becca and Jackie to coordinate with each of you any questions you may have individually or as a group as well. But we will also be down there on site here pretty soon. Hopefully see you in person, shake your hand. Thank you very much.
Okay, now any questions, just ask. We can answer.
Hey, Jackie, we had a couple questions over in the chat. This is Becca.
Okay.
So I wanted to address those really quick. So we had the first question was from Carlos. And Carlos asked, is it true that fabs take a long time to build due to how clean that they need to be?
Okay, so yes. So that's why, when the COVID happened, so all the world sort of strips. But to be honest, it takes a long time to build our capacity. So normally for a fab, from the scratch to finish the fab, take 2 years. But it's just for the fab. Then we're gonna put all the equipment in, right, and qualify the whole equipment. It will take another 1 year. So once you start plan a fab, you're gonna expect at least 3 years before you can really start shipping the wafers to the customer. Yes. And how clean? So basically, all working environment, all the fab we are making our wafers, we have a class 1. You guys can search about how to define the class 1 clean room. Okay, it's really clean. Okay, but the office area is just the normal AC area. Is really comfortable, like in the office area. But the whole fab gonna be a clean room working environment.
Awesome. Thank you. And then we had another question from Kia, and her question was, what kind of qualifications are you guys looking for in the positions that you're hiring for? So maybe we could talk a little bit more specifically about the roles and what they need to have in order to apply. So
basically, we prefer you have an AA degree. So that's why all of the candidates from the Pima Community College going to be a good candidate. So for us, so as long as you have a technical background, right? You are in the technical program. Basically, you are qualified for our requirement. So we're gonna screen your resume, and Michael and Tara are gonna do a phone interview. Then we can arrange the interview with us. Yeah. So, and Michael and Tara, do you have anything you want to say about this qualification?
Tori and I are looking for qualifications. First, everyone there at community college has a high school diploma or GED. Jackie had mentioned a little more on the technical side. What we're looking for people that have a passion and a love for technology. They're also not just looking to join a company where you be like a punch in, punch out kind of mentality. People looking for leadership, looking for opportunity to grow. The kind of growth, actually, the pop-up that just kind of popped up just down the screen. What kind of growth can you expect from the company? A lot of it. We're going to have over 10,000 employees at this site. Right now, we're looking to hire some of the areas about 250, 275 technicians, various associates, etc. This is just year one. As Jackie had mentioned, the growth that we're going to have, production is going on right away. Training happens for about 6 or 9 months. We really put a lot of time, effort, energy, and commitment into your future, your success, and to ensure that Jackie and I and Tori have already committed to always be there as well.
This is an incredible opportunity to get in, to this company at this point with all this growth. Can you, Michael, also talk a little bit about what some of like the relocation might look like for the people on the call? Because I know the positions are going to be in Phoenix, and obviously most of the students on this call are probably in Tucson right now. So can we talk through that a little bit?
Sure. We will help you break your apartment lease or lease that you have at your homes. We will help you with some temporary housing as you get assimilated into here to North Phoenix. Even to the point of maybe if you want to put some of your information of your stuff into storage as well. So we do have 3 different relocation packages. We provide everyone, both our technicians, which are non-exempt or hourly based positions, include our salaries, engineers, managers, et cetera, kind of thing as well. One is like a lump sum of cash based on your role, the level of your role. One is a vendor helps you out, and the other is a hybrid of those two.
Awesome. And will there ever be any remote positions available in the future? Somebody asked that over in the chat.
At the current time, there is not. We'll be remote down the road. You never know, but most of our positions will be on site.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
I have a question. So I'm pursuing a electrical engineering degree, and this program that I'm in, they allow me to work full time while doing a full time job. Do you guys have any like co-ops or internships of engineering that might be available within this new building? Or is it more of join the technician kind of role and you could work your way into that kind of position?
To answer the first question, no internships right now are available for anyone. Probably not until sometime late 2023, 2024. A lot of our employees that are working as technicians, once they're on shift, they're working 3/12s or 4/12s. I also went to school when I was working as well. I worked at Motorola back in the day. So it's very possible to complete your engineering degree. But then the nice thing is once you're coming as a technician without having the degree completed just yet, you can essentially internal transfer to much more opportunities because you'll actually be working with the hiring managers. And you'll be able to create relationships and networking internally, which is stronger than coming in from the outside. Did that answer your question, Abel?
Yes, it does. And then I have a follow-up question, but I just forgot it.
It always happens. It happens to me all the time too, Abel.
And later on, I'm pretty sure we're going to have some education supporting program, right?
We will.
We're going to have some further education. We're going to do some reimbursement, right, to support you.
Okay, that was my second question.
Yeah. Currently, we're still working on that, right? So.
Okay, thank you.
Awesome. I see Kristen raised her hand, and then Zane, I'll pop over to you next. Okay.
And for all those students that are in AIT program here at PIMA, the beauty of that is the coursework is aligned with Central Arizona College, the Maricopas. So you would be able to actually continue your coursework just up there in the valley and then transfer back here and obtain your certificate from PIMA back here. And that's the beauty of having this coursework aligned. So as we move on and as IRAM gets involved, we'll have some advisors there to help support you in continuation of your degree. So much like we were talking is the ability, Michael, to continue this education, and we'll support that. So that's all in the future.
Good.
Zane, do you want to go ahead and ask your question? Make sure and take yourself off mute. Don't make a Becca mistake. I do that all the time. He's working on it.
You hear me?
There you go. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah, I was just curious. When were you guys going to be starting the hiring process?
We're actually doing the interview and hiring right now. We have people starting as early as we can start 5 or so people within the next month or so. We're looking to bring on 20 people in July and 20 people every month beyond that as well, to do some interim training here in North Phoenix. And when the site goes live with Jackie, we'll send you all up to the on-site, working inside the manufacturing unit itself.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the facility gonna be done by the end of the year. So before that, we're gonna give you some training, like in-person training, those e-learnings, right? Some of the training from headquarters in our temp office. Actually, we do have a temp office nearby the downtown Phoenix, right?
Yep, it's the temp office is located by Metro Center Mall, if anyone's familiar with that.
Awesome. We had some more questions over in the chat for you guys. So I'm going to pop back to Ian's question because I missed it originally, but he did have a question because the process technician job description does say that an associate's degree is required. So he just wanted to check, is it required or is it not required? And are you guys, and I think we answered the part about you're willing to work around school and work with school. But he just wanted to know what's
basically since on the website we're gonna say like required, but since we're gonna hold special event with the PIMA, so we're gonna say yeah we prefer. So if you don't have a degree but you do have some technical education background, yeah, it's fine. Yeah, we're gonna recommend you for interview. So I already talked with those process technician hiring managers.
Great. Thanks, Jackie, for that. And then Mike had a question regarding kind of what the day-to-day tasks looks like for the technicians that are hired. What does kind of a common day look like for them?
Sorry,
Jackie?
Sorry, can you say that the question? Sorry, I'm not.
No worries. Yeah, I'll read it to you again. Mike just wanted to know what kind of tasks are the technicians hired working on a day-to-day basis?
Okay, so it depends on the role, right? So if you are hired as an equipment technician, so I mean, if you're really a hands-on guy, really work on the hands-on jobs. So the equipment technician more do the preventive maintenance about the tool, and also do some troubleshootings on the equipment. So those equipment are really expensive, to be honest. The minimum, like the lower cost, the lowest cost for our equipment going to be over $1 million. So the highest one will have a really fancy, if you guys heard about EUV, currently it's from a company called the SML, which can make
I'm getting hearing it.
Meter process happen. So I mean, this tool, just one tool, costs you $150 million. Yeah, so it's a really expensive. Basically, equipment technician in charge 1 or 2 type of these kind of tools. You're gonna do the maintenance and troubleshooting. And as a process technician, yeah, the process is really complicated, right? So you're gonna be in charge, okay, how to make sure those process running on target. Okay, if it's sometimes it's out of control, so you're gonna see, okay, which kind of parameter you're gonna slightly tune to pull the process back to the target. And if you have some lot issues because of the process, we're gonna see how to handle our wafers and try to do some recovery of our product. If you are a manufacturing technician, basically, because we are shipping our wafers to the customer, so the lot's gonna moving from wafer start to end, it's gonna take over 100 days, thousands of steps. Okay, all the manufacturing technicians were in charge. Okay, all those wafers dispatching and to do the pool qualification. Okay, and to see what kind of the queue time we're gonna fulfill to make sure the process queue time is no problem. So basically, you can see you control everything running in the fab through all the systems. It's more like play a really fancy video game. Okay, let's basically mainly 3 technicians. So the depends on which technician you're interested in. The job is different. The task is different.
Awesome. Thank you. And then Nicholas asked a question over the chat, and he said, are there any health risks associated with wafer manufacturing, and are those eliminated by robots?
So I would say, so if you just say the physical risk, I will say, we are really focused on the safety. Okay, we're gonna make sure you are really safe working environment. So the robot is just in the tool, like the transportation. During the process, nobody can touch the tool basically. Okay, it's really automatically. It's just when you do some the troubleshooting, you may open the chamber, okay, deal with the robots. Basically, if you follow the SOP, it's going to be really safe. And the chemical wise, also, of course, we're going to really careful about all the chemicals we're using in our fab. So it's going to be all, we're really confident, like it's really safe working environment, right? All those, the whole process is going to handled by automatic process. No people basically physically touch any chemical. I can say that.
So, and to support Jackie's information, we do provide all the PPE to protect you against any chemical and physical harm. Human error always does exist. That's why we work in teams. And then beyond that, like Jackie had mentioned, following the SOP will guide you to a very health and safe work environment. Yet again, we always want to make sure that we have constant training, constant awareness, and being aware of your surroundings.
I will also say that the air in the fab is really clean. So I have some experience. Like if you're working a long time in the fab, so when you go out, say, okay, so the air is different because it's so clean in the clean room.
Yeah, if you have allergies, you won't have any inside the fab.
I have really bad allergies. Maybe I need to come there too.
I have a question. So if we apply within like now, and you guys are doing the process of hiring the next couple months, could we push back that like hiring day or when we start until July while we're in school at the moment? I'm in
Yes,
Minnesota.
you can.
Yeah, I'm in Minnesota at the moment, so I won't be back until the end of May.
Yep. Yeah. So essentially, we have classes starting every like from July all the way almost through November. 20 plus people per starting event, so we don't overwhelm Jackie with too many people right away for his training group. So if you can't start till say August or September, October, we will work with you.
Yeah, basically, I give you some timing. If you are applying the manufacturing technician or assistant, the early on board months will be July, like Michael mentioned. So if you apply for an equipment process technician, onboarding will be a little bit late. So early as September or October.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then we have a student that is on the line right now that's actually located in Phoenix. So for that student, would they just go ahead and apply like anybody else would? And then, email Michael and let him know that they've applied. Would that be the best way to go about it still?
Yes.
Okay.
That'd be a great way.
Okay.
And then what I'll do is as soon as I get that notification that they have applied, I'll contact them in 24 hours, set up a scheduling time for myself or Tori to have that conversation for about a half hour, 45 minutes, go through the full details, go through our information, and set up the next step for the interview process with Jackie and his team.
Great.
Will you guys be providing your guys' email in the chat or anywhere?
I will do it right now, Abel.
I can answer Victor's question real quickly about
That'd
interviews.
Be great.
We are doing interviews, so it's kind of a twofold question, or twofold answer. Half of our hiring managers are in Taiwan. So some of the interviews are done in the evening time for us here in Arizona, which is morning time for them. And Jackie, correct me if I'm wrong, 12 to 15 hours ahead of us. So if it's Tuesday night now, it's Wednesday morning in Taiwan. So pending if we schedule you with an interview with Jackie, which we don't overwhelm just him, then there are other opportunities to interview in the evening time, specifically if you're out of school or if your work is interfering with interview times. We do interviews Sunday through Thursday currently. Hopefully that answers that question.
Perfect. And Michael, can you talk a little bit about the April 11th interviewing event that we're going to be doing here at Pima Community College and the process that the students should follow for that?
That's a good question. Jackie and I believe we're still putting that all together. Jackie, did you have any initial ideas on what you wanted?
Well, my initial shot will be, I will bring another like engineers, right? 2 or 3 engineers with me. So, and also Tori and Michael gonna be there. So for that event, so basically we're gonna give you like the quick 5 to 10 minutes talk, okay, to figure out which kind of position you're gonna fill. So, and we have your information. And it will be not an official interview because gonna only take 5-10 minutes each student because gonna be a lot of people coming and we have limited resource. So after the quick talk, we have your information. We're gonna invite you to a second formal interview, basically. Yeah, but basically, I will welcome you guys to join to get more information to see what the position is more fit you guys, and then we're gonna give you further the interview later on.
Awesome.
And that further interview is a one-on-one with myself and Tori as well to ensure that you answer all your questions versus the event fair that Pima is putting on. We want to give you the time and the attention that you deserve.
Awesome. And then Steve over in the chat asked a quick question, and then we'll go over to the student who has their hand raised. Steve's question was in regards to pay scales. Tori, Michael, Jackie, are you guys able to share kind of what the pay scale looks like for these 3 positions?
It's kind of different for each position as well. I can say that we do take into consideration your education, your experience, and the application it is towards the position as well. I'd rather have that as more individual conversation than a group, because once I say a number, I've been on these groups as well, and they'll take over the entire rest of the day. But I want to make sure I give everyone, Zane, Kristen, Abel, the 23 others, Steve, everyone, the time and attention to have more customized for them.
Yeah,
if that's okay.
We're gonna provide a competitive salary.
Yep.
So believe me, so we are in the semiconductor industry, and we are the #1 company in this industry. Basically, we're gonna provide you the competitive salary.
Yeah.
So
and make it very fair.
Just for the students on the call, I happen to know what those numbers are. I know a little bit, and it's great. So
okay.
so you don't need to worry too much about that. But Steve, if you're interested in having that one-on-one conversation, I definitely encourage you, to apply. Send Michael that email, and you can have that one-on-one conversation with him, and he can talk with you more specifically about it. All right, so I do see that we have some students that have hands raised. So let's see, Elmoise, do you have a question still?
Yes, I still have a question. Okay, I have a degree in electrical engineering, and I go part-time at Pima for the AIT program. So the only program open for me to apply is just a technician, or what is the future for me if I start as a technician and then I need to move to like engineering, for example? Because I'm working full-time as an engineer, but I really have passion for automation. That's why I'm doing the AIT program. So yeah.
So do you have an actual college degree?
I have a bachelor's in electrical engineering, but I have a passion for automation. My degree is in electronics and electrical in general, but I wanted to do like hands-on, get some skills in automation, basically. PLCs.
I would say just go ahead and let's have a conversation about our electrical engineer positions first. Go through that path first, and then if it is a better fit for you to start as a technician, we can. But I definitely suggest if you have that degree, let's have that conversation platform first, because I don't want you to feel like and a lot of engineers that I know like to have that mentality or the thought process of I can only be a better engineer if I know the ins and outs of the inside of the manufacturing fab. So, and that is to a point, but I'll talk a little bit more on why it's better just go straight for the engineer position versus going for a technician position. You actually have more knowledge and more experience as an engineer. Right. You as a technician, the technician will focus you on, as Jackie will probably has mentioned, on an area or department: etch, diffusion, implant, photo, masking. where the engineer has a full gambit, more like a project management kind of input influence versus each department.
Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah. But basically, internally, later on, of course, we're going to have some job posting internally, right? So if you have a degree, basically you can on the boat right now, and just make sure you are on the boat. Later on, you can apply the engineer positions internally, basically.
Agree.
Thanks.
I accidentally missed a question over in the chat from Mike, and his question was in regards to, do you guys have any dates planned where you are doing any tours or tours in the future so they can see kind of what the facility might look like or what the facility currently looks like that you guys are working out of, like the temp facility?
That's a really good question. Getting access to the site's pretty tough as it is. So this year, I would say no. But there are tours down the road that everyone would love to do. Just because of the level of security that we have within TSMC, we will have to go through a couple avenues for that. But as of right now, our temporary facility, we even have areas where I cannot access because of the level of security there as well. Jackie can, because he's top dog there, and he's Jackie. But us, Tori and I, we're recruiting. We're at the manufacturing side. So, but yeah, if eventually yes, but as of right now, no.
All right, very good. Thank you. So I want to open it up to see if there's any other questions. I think I've gotten to everything over in the chat. If I've missed you, raise your hand, or if anybody has additional questions, go ahead and raise your hand and we can ask those. Give everybody a second.
A question I would ask the group that's on this video is there anything that we didn't talk about today that you were hoping to hear us talk about?
I was just curious. Do you guys have like room for like advancement from technician to maybe, as I say, engineer or something like that?
Yes.
When you do.
Yeah. So to talk about, I described this to one technician I interviewed, where they're applying for. They weren't sure if they wanted to go on the equipment side or the process side. A lot of the process side, as Jackie mentioned and shown, is more of like a command center or more like a really cool video game that I don't play. But it's a way for you to kind of I was looking at it two different ways: the hands-on and the office equipment process analysis. Hands-on, you can start off as equipment technician, go into maintenance technicians, go into facilities, go into equipment commissioning, more the maintenance side of it. Anything that has to do with the actual equipment coming in or being maintained, or the environmental health and safety guidelines of the equipment as well. So there's a whole, if you like working with your hands, the entire side, or if you like being in the office doing more process analysis, project management, research and design, new product development, and the office engineering side. So there's a lot of different avenues to go. It just kind of depends on whether your focus is computers, whether your focus is more manual work. Did that answer your question, Zane?
Yes, it did. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then Ian said, is there any international travel involved with these types of positions? Will they be having to go to Taiwan back and forth?
There was.
I mean, because sign me up.
Yeah. The last group that Jackie had interviewed and hired on, they're currently in Taiwan training. For this next phase going in, not that we're aware of, is there opportunity to go back to Taiwan and work down there? Depends on the role and what's needed or additional training. But yes, if you don't have a passport, it's a good reason to go get it as well.
So basically, our targeting is all those phase 2 technician hire. We're gonna train you guys in local. Yeah, but so yeah, there is an opportunity. Maybe so we send you to Taiwan for a couple months, like for the visit. But the target is to train all the technicians. The second wave hiring gonna be local.
Yep.
Awesome. And then, Michael, really quickly, can you just quickly cover the relo again? We had a couple students that joined us late, and there's some questions regarding that in the chat. Will you just quickly go over like just very general, the 3 packages that you have?
Sure. We have a cash option. We have a vendor option. Vendor option is where you work with a vendor that we work with, and they go ahead and help you break your lease, help you relocate from where you're at to where we're up here in North Phoenix, help you with temporary housing, and if you need to put your stuff in storage, et cetera, kind of stuff. Or there's a combination like, hey, can you help me break the lease, but I'd like some cash as well. Each position that is hired onto is the relocation package is not the same for everyone. So during the offer conversations, we go into that in more detail. I know you're probably looking for a dollar value, but we're unable to share that over the group chat at the current time. But the packages are pretty nice. I talked to someone that moved from Queen Creek, which is more than 50 miles, to more of our facility up here in North Phoenix, and they were able to get out of their lease, get temporary housing, get situated, and then help them with interim payments to get them started, and versus having to fork it out yourself.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome that there's relocation, for different levels. Oftentimes in companies, it's only for a certain level and above.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that you guys are willing to help with relocation for all types of positions is really great. Another great opportunity. What other questions does everybody have that's on the call right now? Go ahead and just raise your hand if you have something. If there's anything that you haven't had answered, you're just dying to have an answer to. What time is the event on April 11th? Will it be held at Pima? Yes, it will be held at Pima. It's going to be at the downtown campus in the Amethyst room. So we'll share information with you regarding that. What the process, what we're hoping it looks like is that you go online and apply for the position. You then email Michael and let him know, hey, I'm a Pima student. I've recently applied. He'll reach out to you and have a conversation with you, talk through some of the details, make sure that it sounds like something that's a really great fit. And then he'll be keeping a list of everybody that we'll be seeing on April 11th. And we'll share all those details out with you after that conversation. But it'll be in the afternoon on April 11th. And we have a significant amount of time blocked so that we can work with classes and things like that. And then Steve asks, are you looking for someone who has a computer background or a cybersecurity background at all?
Cybersecurity, I don't know of those positions off the top of my head. I do know we are looking for about, and I pulled it up myself, but we have about 7 or 8 different IT positions available right now.
Awesome. And they can go on your careers page to see those?
They are, yep. Infrastructure, networking, digital transformation, support engineers, IT technicians, Kubernetes platform engineer, Linux, et cetera, kind of thing.
Any other questions that anybody has that's on the call right now? Can we apply to multiple positions?
You always can. There's only about 3 or 4 recruiters here. My suggestion would be if you apply for one position, have the other, well, I guess, are they all in the same area that you're looking for? But you can always apply to any position you feel you're qualified for. Luckily, there's a small recruiting team here, so we'll talk with each other, and we'll see that information as well. And once you get a conversation, you can always talk about the other ones as long as the person has the knowledge.
Awesome. Any other questions? Don't be shy.
There's a couple that popped up. No, we do not have positions in Tucson. We're going to be located here in North Phoenix only.
All right. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to put your hand up. Otherwise, I know we're 3 minutes from time. So I know a lot of you are in between classes or darting to your next class right now, getting ready to go. So I want to thank everybody who joined us today. Again, I put the instructions over in the chat. Should you be interested in interviewing for the role or one of the roles that TSMC is hiring for, we will have them on site with us on April 11th. So that's an amazing opportunity for you to be able to come and meet them face to face. And do a short interview for one of the roles. Won't be the only interview likely, but it'll be a good start and you'll be able to meet them. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me directly. So I'm running point for this here at Pima. So if you do have questions about anything, my email is over in the chat. It's rable1@pima.edu. You have Michael's information as well for TSMC. Jackie, anything else you want to add before we end the call today?
No, so just looking forward to see you guys in the event and looking forward to see your resumes.
Yes, yes. Make sure you bring your resumes. If any of you students need help with resumes, reach out to me directly. I'll help you so that they're nice and polished for April 11th. All right, guys, with that being said, I think we will go ahead and end today. Reach out to any of us if you have questions, and hope to see all of you guys on April 11th.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
guys.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.